Hi everyone! I'm a music composer and today I'm going to be listening and reacting to Far Horizons, which is one of the most popular tracks from the video game soundtrack Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. The soundtrack is composed by none other than composer Jeremy Soule, and today I'm going to be reacting to the live version from the Skyrim 10th anniversary concert, performed by the London Symphony Orchestra and the London Voices. So let's jump right in. Okay, so we're off to a very interesting start. Now, something I would like to point out here is that a lot of beginner composers, when they think about writing a soft and rather quiet melody and harmony, especially if they're working with a notation program, is that as soon as they start adding layers, the MIDI playback starts to sound louder than what they have imagined. So this usually creates this misunderstanding that if you start adding the layers, your music is going to sound louder. Now that might be the case, but it's not always like that. Now what we see right here is exactly the proof that you can have several layers of music while still sounding fairly quiet. So for example here, we have a horn playing the melody, we have the string section providing the harmony, and we have arpeggios in the celesta. And despite that, the players are still able to maintain this quiet level of dynamic. Wow, that was such a cool transition. I feel like that even that transition had more emotional depth and weight than the actual theme itself. But of course, the theme is very beautiful, but that transition was amazing. Also, love the English horn and string doubling. Oh my god, this sounds so good. Now, one thing that I want to mention here is that notice the amount of anticipation and suspension that goes into the layers of the harmony. And the interesting part is that those subtle changes are enough to keep us engaged and invested in the music, but are not enough to distract us from the actual theme itself. Okay, so we again had a very beautiful transition into what we can refer to as sort of like the B section. The interesting thing is that both the A section and the B section were presented for the first time with solo instrument, which helps to create that intimacy, which is really fitting for this piece. Also love the counterpoint between the cello and the flute. And the interesting thing is that it's not an exact doubling, so at some parts of the theme, the flute is doubling the cello in octave, but at some parts it turns to kind of like a counterpoint thing. Okay, so we have an A section, which was repeated with bigger sort of instrumentation and orchestration. Then we have a transition, which was also repeated with different instrumentation. And now we've returned to our original theme with a solo piano. Now, did you feel how empty it got all of a sudden? Now, if it was a chamber piece, for example for a trio or a quartet, you wouldn't have felt this much emptiness when we got to the solo piano part. So this is a very important point in music, which is the meaning we get from a chord, a note, or a specific texture depends a lot on what comes before and after it. So for example, if I just play you a C major chord, well, it's a C major chord. It doesn't really mean that much. If I play a G major chord and then play a C major chord, then it will give you the feeling of the 5-to-1 cadence in the key of C. Now if I switch that G major chord with any other chord, the C major will have a completely different meaning and feeling. And the exact thing can be said for instrumentation, texture, melody, harmony, whatever you want to call it. Transition was insane. Actually, all of the transitions in this piece are great. Now here, we went from a solo piano, which is like the smallest portion of music you can have in an orchestral setting, up to the whole orchestra and choir all playing together. And that transition was so seamless and so musically beautiful. I'm honestly speechless. Okay, now we can see that the solo piano was also a strategic move to give the rest of the orchestra and the choir a chance to breathe and relax. Because after the transition, the whole orchestra and the choir were going to get busy. So this kind of consideration and attention to details is what makes such an amazing piece of music. This was such a great piece, I honestly don't know what to say. Also, for the last note, can you remember the transition between the A section and the B section that was given to the choir back then? The coda of this piece was actually that transition, used in a quieter, more subtle way, and it was given to the strings and harp, which was a really great choice. Wow, I'm honestly so blown away by the soundtrack, and I hope that I can listen to more pieces from the Skyrim soundtrack because Far Horizons was a delight listening to. Now, as always, thank you so much for watching, and if you have any other suggestions that you would like me to react to, please leave them in the comments down below, and make sure to like and subscribe for more videos like this, and also for videos on music theory, composition, harmony, orchestration, and all that good stuff. And with that, I will see you in the next one.